So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Leanne Vogel. I'm a holistic nutritionist and high-fat enthusiast behind the site healthfulpursuit.com, and I help women regulate their hormones, balance their metabolisms, and generally be awesome by eating more fat. And today is a Q&A day, so I'm answering all of your questions as it relates to keto and my fat-fueled approach. So for those that don't know, keto is a low-carb, high-fat eating style where we are eating low-carb to slide into fat-burning mode. And the difference between low-carb, like general low-carb, and what we're doing here is that we're eating enough fat to encourage our bodies to get into a state of ketosis where we're burning fat as fuel. I'm just going to lower this just a bit so I can see your comments just a little bit better. And we have periscope people over here, Facebook people over here, and I'm going to answer 8 of your questions as it relates to keto. So let's start off with a question that came in just now, hypothyroidism. Hypothyroidism on keto. I am hypothyroid, and I've been keto for 2.5 years, 2 years and 2 months-ish. And so yes, totally, you can totally be keto and hypothyroid. That's no problem at all. I would encourage you to work with a doctor to make sure that you're on the right medication for your body. Personally, myself, I'm always in the space where I want to get off medication. So right now I'm sitting at around, I think it's 30 milligrams of thyroid, just because I have a lot of stuff going on in my life, and stress is immediately affected by, or stress immediately affects your thyroid. So it's important to make sure that you know that your weakest link is your thyroid, and you're doing everything in your power to nourish your thyroid. So some things that you can do on keto to make sure that that happens. Personally, for me, I find my thyroid is happiest when I do carb ups, and I talk a lot about that in all of the stuff that I have. I'll include a link up here and also down below on my favorite carb up video that I did, so you can take a look at that if you're watching this on the replay, and if you're live, just go to the Google machine and type in Healthful Pursuit carb up so you can learn about that. And it's just a little bit of carbohydrates every other day, once a week, just so you can help to nourish your thyroid. But keto is totally doable with your thyroid, and you may actually find that it will help your thyroid. I think I actually did a video on thyroid. I can't remember. I do so many videos. But definitely type in Healthful Pursuit thyroid. And if I did do a video, I'll include a link up here if you're watching this on the replay. I can't totally remember. Okay, I hope that was helpful, Elizabeth. And let's go for another question. I just saw a bunch come through on Periscope. Any opinions on Wheat Belly by Dr. Davis, wheat-free and grain-free? Hold on a second. I'm just going to bring that up. Yeah, okay, so I always get confused with Wheat Belly and Grain Brain. I feel like they're really similar. I've read Grain Brain. I haven't read Wheat Belly. I'm pretty sure I understand the concept. It's like, eat less wheat, it's bad for you. If I'm wrong, let me know. But overall, I personally don't do well on wheat. I find I do better off wheat. When a doctor told me to go off gluten, I thought he was crazy, but my life got so much better after I removed it. So I'm not 100% sure of the concept of Wheat Belly, but if it's go off wheat, you'll feel so much better. I totally agree with that. But you know, there are people that thrive on this sort of food. So with any diet or anything, any approach, you're the master of your own body. So if you read Wheat Belly and there's certain pieces that you love about it, then do it. If you love all of it, do it. And then if you realize like 3 weeks later that you hate one aspect, then don't do that. It doesn't mean that you need to do everything. Same with all of my programs. Like, I don't expect you to follow it 120%. Just pick the parts that you like and make an eating style that works well for you. That's totally fine. So I would encourage you to read the book, pick what you like, and move on. Yeah, and that's with anything. Okay, third question. Grain-free has made a huge difference. Yeah, I agree. My hair is falling out. How long before it stops now that I'm carbing up? How are you feeling on the carb ups? Utterfly, 28 Utterfly. How are you feeling on those carb ups? Some people thrive on it, some people don't. So it's really great. Good, you're feeling good. Okay, so my personal experience with hair falling out, my hair started falling out about 6 months after doing a very, very, very strict keto eating style, and it started falling out end of October, early November, and I would say by January my hair was getting better, and now my hair is back to normal. It's really great. Love it. It's really big. I've got lots of hair. I got lots of hair. But yeah, I would say about 2 months. That's what I would aim for. And there are some supplements that you can take for hair. Monthly cycle. Okay, we're going to talk about that next. I'm just going to talk about supplements really quickly. Collagen, gelatin, you can use Vital Proteins. I'll include a link up here and also down below if you're watching this on the replay for Vital Proteins. Otherwise, just go to vitalproteins.com, and if you love Vital Proteins, you can get the collagen and the gelatin for your hair at 10% off plus free shipping in the US. Use the code VPHP10 for that offer. Yeah. Okay. There's also like biotin, silica, blah, blah, blah. But a lot of collagen, like collagen will do all of those things. So I would recommend starting there, not going crazy with the supplements, because who needs to spend a lot of money on supplements? Not I. Okay. Fourth question, and then we're going to jump on over to Facebook for a couple of questions. The fourth question from Periscope is monthly cycle after 1 year. Now, the person that asked this, I didn't grab your name, but I'm assuming that you are on keto, and maybe you've been eating keto for a year and you still haven't gotten your cycle yet, and perhaps you had amenorrhea before that and you went keto to try to get your cycle back. I'm making a lot of assumptions, but I'm going to go with that. Yep. Sweet. Okay, I'm a psychic. No. Okay, you've been keto for 1 year and you've had amenorrhea for how many years? A couple? Maybe 3? Let's see if I got that right. So you've had amenorrhea for probably 2. Okay. Oh, darn it. Okay, so you've had amenorrhea for 2 years. Keto for 1 year. I would look at, there's a couple of options. Eat a bunch. Like, eat. And it can be keto foods. It can totally be keto foods, but just like eat. And in my case, I had to gain weight in order to get my period back. And I find if I go under a certain body fat percentage, I don't get my period. So a lot of people are going to tell you to eat, and I know when I heard that with amenorrhea, and I had it for 8 years, I was like, that is crazy, what else can I do? But I just ate a ton of keto foods. Like, I ate a lot of keto foods, and there were 2 things that helped, well, 3. Eating a ton of keto foods, eating a ton of fat, which meant that I was keto. And yeah, exactly. And then the third I found was really successful once my period started and I was eating a whole bunch of fat was chaste berry. That's Vitex. It's called Vitex. If you're watching this on the replay, I'll put a link up here and also down below this video. Otherwise, just go to Amazon, search for chaste berry. That's CHASTEBERRY, and it's an adaptogen. It's a herb. And it just helps with hormone regulation. And when you get your period back, because your body's going to be like, what the heck is this period thing? Your period's going to suck. So it can be really helpful for that as well. But like, if you're counting calories, I would either recommend not doing that and looking from, maybe listen to our podcast, the No Sugar Coating Podcast. You can go to healthfulpursuit.com/podcast. To get more information on our podcast, and we talk a lot about restriction and how it relates to your health. I'll also include a link up here for those that are watching this on the replay, and you can listen to that and see if that helps, because there's probably some restriction stuff going on, I find, with amenorrhea. And if you're really willing to like go the extra mile, you could stop working out. I'll let you sit with that one because it can be really hard for people to hear that. I know it was for me too. But I just started doing yoga, I was eating a whole bunch, eating a lot of keto foods, and I got my period back. And now I am so fertile. If I look at a man the right way, I'm sure I would get pregnant. Like, that is how fertile I am. So definitely a huge change. A little story, we drove to Drumheller last weekend, and I used to have a specialist in Drumheller. And last time I went to the specialist was about 3 years ago. And Kevin and I would make the drive. It's like a two-hour drive from our house. And we would make the drive every month to go to the specialist. And the last appointment we went to was basically, you're in menopause, you're 27. If you want to get pregnant, you have to be put on a pump. There's no other way. You are never going to be able to be fertile. You're never going to have a period. So as we were driving to Drumheller last weekend and I had my period, it was bittersweet. It was totally great. Okay, somebody was asking about what book I'm recommending. I would say probably my best pack of information is probably the Keto Bundle. So you can get that at healthfulpursuit.com/bundle. I'll see if I have a little, yeah, I do. I'll bring this up on the screen so you guys can see it, because this is always helpful. It's healthfulpursuit.com/bundle. You can take a screenshot of that. It's so hard to do both screens at the same time, but I think I got it. And that is the combination of both of my products. The Keto Beginning and Fat Fueled, all together in one package. And if you're watching this on the replay, I'll also include a link so you can check it out. Okay, perfect. Okay, what book were you recommending? Cortisol levels. Okay, this is a good one. Cortisol levels. Cortisol levels. Bobby asks, I'm sitting at 139. How can I improve this? I've been keto for 9 months. Oh, 139. How are you feeling, Bobby? Oh, man. Yeah, it's really low. I bet you're not feeling so good. Okay, so your cortisol is pretty low. So a lot of the adaptogen herbs like ashwagandha and reishi are just going to make you more tired. It's a really slippery slope, and you know, Bobby, that your weakest link is your cortisol and your adrenals. So you always have to be mindful of that going forward and pretty much the rest of your life. So when your adrenals and your low cortisol, like when your cortisol is that low, resting, no working out, because even if you are working out, you don't have the cortisol you need to do the muscle building that you need, and it's just a total waste, and it's actually making it worse. So like 0 working out, maybe walks, especially during the daytime. In the morning is really great, so you get that sun stimulation in your eyes. Our bathroom, there's a light, like there's sun that comes right in a certain area, and I just sit there for 5 minutes in the morning to stimulate my cortisol production and get things going. So you could try something like that. Weight isn't coming off, but feeling not bad. Yeah, Bobby, so no aqua size. It depends how intense the aqua size is. I'm not going to say like totally no, you have to listen to your body, but I know personally for me, when my cortisol was that low, like, good luck. It's just, if you are, if it's a strenuous exercise and you're really, really pushing yourself, it's actually not doing any help, like it's not doing any good. Walking is nice because you can gauge it. Aqua size, if you're going around the pool and it's water and you're chatting with friends and it's like a connection exercise, that can be really helpful. But if it's like really, really pushing, then I would say not so much. I would say no coffee, no stimulants of any kind, and really setting up a pretty, not strict, but just very regimented sleeping schedule with no electronics in the room. A meditation can be really helpful for cortisol. I downloaded an app called Calm. No green tea, no caffeine, period. That will be the best. If you want to have green tea, it'll just take a lot longer. So I'm of the belief that yeah, there's a question, how do you know if your cortisol is low? I'm guessing that Bobby did a blood test, and that's usually the best way to measure your cortisol. It's called Cortisol AM. It's a blood test that you do before 8 a.m. in the morning to kind of see where your cortisol is at. You can also do a saliva test. My podcast host, Amber, loves saliva tests. She really likes them. I personally don't. I can't find the correlation with a lot of the numbers when I get them done same time, same place. So I find blood work. Yeah, Bobby did blood work. So now is a perfect time. I know that my adrenal dysfunction came from a bunch of different things. One being I wasn't taking time for myself. So Bobby, if you're not taking time for yourself or not giving yourself some self-care, and maybe you're being really hard on yourself and things like that, it can be a great time to kind of look at that and structure your life a little bit differently over the next couple of months and see how that helps. Because when our cortisol is that low, no matter how hard we push, our body is against us, especially when it comes to weight loss and just overall health. When our cortisol is low, our immune system is going to be lacking. We're probably going to get sick more often. Stimulus really affects us. I know for myself, when my cortisol was low, like any little bit of adjustments to the schedule or anything would just totally freak me out. So yeah, I hope that was helpful. Let's talk about falling off the wagon. And there's been some questions coming in about cancer. I am so not knowledgeable in the cancer realm when it comes to keto. It's just not something that I specialize in. You could check out, there's a ton of different resources now on cancer and keto, and so go to the Google machine. But I'm not on the realm of therapeutic stuff when it comes to keto and cancer and stuff. It's just not my forte, and I wouldn't feel comfortable answering those questions. So I'm sorry for that, but I know there are other resources out there that would be helpful for you. Okay, falling off the wagon. Okay, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, but we talked about pushing ourselves really hard, and let's talk about that next. Is it easier to keep weight off when keto? Okay, so falling off the wagon. Okay, first of all, I'd like to suggest that there is no wagon. I was listening to a podcast yesterday, and it was about binge eating. And one of the people in the podcast was saying that it's all in your brain, and the other person in the podcast was saying that it's all because of the restriction. And in my case, my binges as a result was a clear result of my diet. And even now, when I'm filled with I'm not really hungry tonight, but I should have dinner to hit my macros, and then I eat the food that I didn't really want to eat because I was trying to hit macros, and then this switch is triggered in me that's I don't know why, because I'm following my plan, but all of a sudden this switch is triggered, and I'm like, screw it, I'm going to eat all the things, I'm going to do all the stuff because I'm off plan. And I know that this has happened to so many of us. It's massively improved when we're eating fats, because fats are one of the building blocks of our body. And up until this point, you probably haven't been having enough fats to nourish the parts of your body that need it, that regulate those sort of urges. Because I know that when I was working with a bunch of clients, oftentimes those binges from a diet were fattier foods. And if you're on keto and you're binging on, say, carbier foods, that can be a good indication that the restriction that you're placing on your body isn't working for your body. So what I would recommend to you is, if you're on keto and every couple of days or every couple of weeks you're binging on carbs, then maybe incorporate a carb up practice before that happens. So if you know that every 9th day, around the 8th, 9th, 10th day, you're binging on carbs, maybe have carbs on the 5th day so the binge doesn't happen. So you can kind of structure it that way. And when we look at the wagon as actually not being a wagon and kind of looking at our whole life and our decisions as a whole, it creates a lot less stress on ourselves. And this goes back to the conversation we had about diets and the wheat belly thing. And if you're thinking that you're on this diet and it has to be absolutely perfect, and then, oh my gosh, you didn't have the broccoli with dinner and you decided to have a sweet potato instead, all of a sudden life is over and you're off the diet. That's because you're looking at this diet as the end-all be-all, and your body is the end-all be-all, like, period. And I don't know, I had this realization probably about a year and a bit ago where it's like, I'm so sick of letting my food choices dictate my life, like, period. I'm so sick of it. And I see so many women, especially, hurting because they allow, and our society, and it's not your fault, our society has built up this world where our bodies are a currency and we have to obsess about the way that we look. And my approach to keto is looking at our bodies and nourishing our bodies. And if you want the sweet potato, have the sweet potato. It doesn't mean that you're less of a person, or if you're 5 pounds heavier, it doesn't mean that your children won't love you or you won't get a promotion. And oftentimes when we get out of that box of, I fell off the diet and I'm no good, imagine if you could spend all of that time that you obsess about your food doing something like awesome, like working really hard to get that promotion you've always dreamt of, but you're too scared and you don't think that you're worthy of that promotion because you're not good enough. Like, imagine if you put all that energy into something that would actually better your life instead of totally drag you down and make you think that you're too small. And so I'm going to get off my soapbox in a second, but it really, really hurts. It really hurts me to see this happening. And I'd like to start the conversation about this, and with Fat Fueled I did. And I will continue doing this, where I believe that keto has a place, and it's helped me so much. And I know that there's a place within keto that will probably work for you. It's just about listening to your body. And there's lots of resources on my blog where we talk about this. So no wagon, your body is the end all. That should be a quotable quote. I like that. Yes, totally. A little rant. Kevin and I were actually talking about this last night, and I was like bawling my eyes out because I don't want to be confused as a keto enthusiast that encourages restriction. It's just not my jam. It's ridiculous, and I want to be known as a keto enthusiast that encourages you to listen to your body, and the information that I share is just one piece of it. But at the end of the day, you have to listen to what your body is saying, and some of the things I share will be awesome, and some of the things I share you'll think are crazy, and that's totally okay. So the 7th question, is it easier to keep weight off when you're keto? I'm so great. Oh, that's so great. I'm so great. That's so great. You taught me to listen to my body. That's so good. I'm so glad. Thank you. That's great. I'm so proud of you. I just lit up something in you that you already had there. So it's all you. It's all you. Is it easier to keep off weight when you're keto? Personally, I find it is. With keto, I don't have the roller coaster of blood sugar highs and lows. I don't feel irritable. Carbs make me crazy if I eat too many of them. So for me and my mental stability I find for me personally is really important when I'm maintaining health and maintaining weight. And when I eat too many carbs, I don't feel totally optimally there in my brain. So for me, yeah, totally. But it'll be different for everyone. I find that keto, you have to be less restrictive because you can get away with eating more and still feeling good. So that makes it easier. Yeah, so let's go with one more question. I like the idea of not being too restrictive. When I do have carbs, it throws me right off track for weeks. So let's just answer this quickly. It could be a train of thought. So let's go back to the off track thing, because I don't think we're totally done with this yet, actually. I like the idea of not being too restrictive, but when I do have carbs, it throws me right off track for weeks. I would suggest that the reason it throws you off track for weeks is because maybe as you're eating the carbs, you're thinking, this is so bad. This is so bad. I need to count this. I need to track this. A carb up is a handful of carbs. Leanne has said, so-and-so have said, and I got to stick with this. Maybe it's become like, it's funny when we get into these magnesium oxide. Somebody's asking about constipation. Magnesium oxide is the best, I find. So yeah, when you're off track and things like that, Kelly, it can be because of the mind games that are going on. So I would encourage you, next time you have a carb up, if you kind of want to play with this, before you do a carb up, create a list of maybe 3 things that you love to do that make you feel really good. And after your carb up, do one of those things. So for me, it's having baths. I love baths. So after your carb up, you could have a little bath, take some self-care, do some things, and you might find that the next day it'll be a lot easier for you to get back into the groove. Okay? And when you're eating the carbs, something that you can repeat over and over in your head or out loud if you're by yourself: I'm nourishing my body, I'm listening. I'm nourishing my body, I'm listening. And just say it over and over and over as you're eating, and see how that feels. Because in your brain, you're probably thinking, like, as you're eating these carbs, this is so bad, I shouldn't be eating this. This is so bad, I shouldn't be eating this. Try to change the conversation. Yes, totally. Keto can help with anxiety. There's been a couple of papers done on keto and anxiety. Totally. I know for myself that's a very real thing. I've never been told that I have anxiety problems, but I know personally when I eat a bunch of carbs, I get more anxious. And Kevin can tell. It's crazy. My husband can totally tell. Can you be healthy and not be keto? Heck yeah. You can be healthy and eat like Freely Banana Girl. You can be healthy and be paleo. You can be healthy at all different places. I was not healthy as a vegan. I was not totally healthy as paleo. So I'm pretty damn healthy as keto, and it feels really good. So it totally depends on your body and your approach. I love how calm and focused keto gets me. That's awesome. All the calm and all the focus. Okay, guys, another Q&A in the dust. Thank you so much for joining in. You can find these, like, if you want to watch this again or anything, you can find it at healthfulpursuit.com/live. And there were a bunch of product questions. So again, you can go to healthfulpursuit.com/bundle and take a look at that. And yes, my approach is paleo and keto. So if you feel good on paleo, but you want to go the next step, you can totally do the keto paleo thing, which is my approach. It's like a step up from paleo, I say. Okay, have a great Thursday, guys. I love these so much. And I will see you guys same time, same place, Thursdays on Facebook Live and Periscope at 10 a.m. Eastern. Bye.